Hi everyone, happy Wellness Wednesday. Thanks for joining us this morning. I am coming to you live from the most glorious, beautiful, sunny spring day in Vancouver, British Columbia. I want to take a quick moment to say hi to some of the friends I know that are joining us from all over the world. I'm going to send a special hello to my best friend joining us from Berlin, Germany, so all the way across the world. Last week we had a chance to share some education with someone from Slovakia. I saw in the comment section we had North America represented across the board from Huntington Beach to Ottawa. So thank you all for taking some time out of your week to join us. I really celebrate the initiative to learn about products that can support your wellness, to really share in education and the ways that it can touch people all across the globe. So thank you to everyone for joining us. My name is Kristin. I'm the National Educator here at Sage. I've had the good fortune and the pleasure for the last 5 years of teaching everyone in all of our stores and now digitally about our products and ingredients, which is a true passion of mine. So thank you for letting me have the opportunity to do it. So today I'm really excited because we're going to talk about 3 of our brand new remedial kits. So when I say remedial, what I mean is potential products that can replace things in your medicine cabinet. So think about products that may contain synthetics or petrochemicals or parabens that you can look at replacing for day-to-day wellness concerns with products that are plant-based and free of any of those additives that I mentioned. So what I really want to celebrate is that not only are we looking at a refreshed selection of products, including some brand new limited edition items, but it's also a celebration of the sustainable initiatives with our packaging. So let's get started. This is the first kit here. So the first one we're going to talk about, which is our Sleepwell Kit. And before we dive into the products, I want to mention, like I said, about the packaging. So you see this beautiful, cool gray color, but more specifically, the material itself. These kits are made of an ingredient called rPET. So what rPET is recycled polyethylene terephthalate. I might be mispronouncing that last word there, but essentially what that means in layman's terms is recycled water bottles. So what I want to celebrate specifically is that rPET is considered the most environmentally responsible and efficient reuse of plastics. So each one of these kit bags, it's going to take about 1 to 3 recycled water bottles, depending on the size of the kit. And that means that we keep thousands and thousands of water bottles out of our landfills. So really acknowledging and celebrating this beautiful new packaging. A shout out to our design and packaging team here at Sage who've done an incredible job really elevating the kits. So if I'm that excited about the material, picture how excited I am about what's inside. Let's jump in. So this guy here, we're going to just open it up. And the first product that we're going to talk about is the namesake of the kit. So this is the Sleepwell Remedy. So if you've joined us over the last few weeks, we've talked about this product a couple of different times in a couple of different ways. And there's a reason why it's included in this kit. It is our #1 top seller for sleep. So this was blended as a really potent and powerful formula. We jokingly call it the hammer to support your best rest and your most restful sleep. So some of your key ingredients, just going to give it a little sniff. Well-known ingredients for relaxation or sedation. So think of lavender, Roman chamomile, so studied in aromatherapy as a nervous, or a nervine is what they call it, so a nervous sedative. And what that means is it can really support calming like a busy mind or sort of chatter and racing thoughts. It also has German chamomile, or sometimes called blue chamomile, which is responsible for that dark color. So if you see the blue-green color in the formula. And then the most key ingredient here, the MVP of the blend, it's Valerian. So Valerian is a really earthy, really grounding essential oil. It has a bit of a pungent odor. And what it's really specifically known for is its ability to induce deep rest. Valerian is popular in everything from tinctures to teas. Of course, here we've blended it as an essential oil. So it's really supportive of giving your body that ability to fall into sleep and then stay asleep. So I'm going to talk about a couple specifics about the product itself. Maybe you're going to learn something new. I always like to blow a few minds in the morning. So if you take off the top cap here, this is your roll-on for topical application. And then the bottom is actually a dropper. So this is something a lot of people don't know. So if you unscrew your bottom cap, you have this dropper. And what I'm talking about specifically here is that this formula is safe to use in your diffuser. So typically products you see like this, they're topical use only, but the odd time we blend one intentionally to be strong, like we have with the Sleepwell, and that means that it's 100% pure oil, no carrier. So what you would do is you would just flip up your little cap like this, and then you would just tip it this way and tap into your diffuser. And what this really allows is the idea of layering wellness, which is something that I'm going to talk about a few times today. That means using different product mediums and formats to really produce longevity of benefit. And so in this case, you would be able to apply the product topically to the body, and then you'd have it diffusing in the air as well. So we'll chat more about that in a few minutes. In terms of how to use this one specifically, you can apply to pulse points, so think your temples, your wrists. Some people love this product over the chest, over the throat, along the bottom of the feet as well. In that case, I would encourage to massage in really well, or to just add a pair of cotton socks, just so you're not having any transfer of that darker colored essential oil to your fabric. So Sleepwell really is the sort of anchor, the hero within the kit. We love it for so many reasons. The next product, ooh, I love this one, it's so cute. Check out this little guy. So this is our Sleepwell Bedtime Coconut Shea Body Butter. Look at the little mini size. This is pretty new to our collection. We just added it last fall, and this was a big ask for our community for a really long time. So when you think about the formula, it's that same relaxing, calming formula. So think your lavender, there's jasmine, neroli, the chamomiles I mentioned, as well as your valerian. But this is intentionally designed for hydration. So think deep nourishment, moisture replenishment to the skin to really complement a bedtime routine. So for example, after a shower, after a bath, to help lock moisture into the skin and provide your body with that signal and that information through the essential oils that you're heading towards rest. This is my favorite part, is the reveal. I love pulling back the lid on a brand new body butter. Look at that. So you see that really beautiful creamy formula, that really rich combination of coconut and shea. So it's going to absorb easily into the skin. It's not going to be greasy or heavy. Beautiful aroma. Looks like a dessert, but don't eat it. Use this one just for the body. And then the third and final product within the sleep kit, I'm thrilled to announce, is called Goodnight Grounding Mist. So this here is a limited edition product, only available within the kit. And Renee, I see you online here, and I'm celebrating this one specifically for you because I know how much you love it. So this product here, Goodnight, you may have heard me a few weeks back talk about a diffuser blend. So we introduced the diffuser blend last fall as well, and it was the first time we created a formula for sleep that didn't include lavender. So it was specifically blended for people who enjoyed a more earthy or woodsy, almost sort of smoky formula, and you have some incredible ingredients in here. So my personal favorite essential oil, which is frankincense. You have a really nice smoky vetiver, a warming, really sort of grounding and woodsy sandalwood. So again, that idea of something that's a bit more earthy. So I'm going to give it a shake. We'll have a little mist in the air. Oh, a little smell. I love this one. I'm so excited to spray this over my pillows, over my sheets tonight. I had to actually be mindful to not use the whole bottle so that I would be able to share it with you guys. You can see I've gotten through a good amount. So you can do just what I did there. If you want to give yourself a bit of a personal mist, just close your eyes and your mouth, take a couple deep inhales. You can also spray, like I said, over your pillows, over your sheets. And then again, you have that option of layering wellness if you want to use it in conjunction with the diffuser blend. So that's the Goodnight Mist. The last piece of the kit isn't a product, but it's important. So this is the little booklet that comes inside. So it folds out like this. Looks a little bit like an accordion. I love talking about the booklet because it has such key information available. So not only is it things like ingredients, but it also has recommended use and then even a little diagram. So something like this that shows you tips and tricks about where to apply to the body or some of the areas that you may like to use it. So these are always great to hang on to for reference, and one is included in each of the kits. So that's our first kit, Sleepwell. The second one, I'm equally thrilled, is our stress release. So look at this cute little kit, a perfect little round circle. Again, genius design and specifically designed to be small so that you could tuck this easily into a backpack, into a purse, even into your pocket, so you could keep it with you on the go. So the inside of this kit, I think, is the coolest. Let me set it up to show you. So there's your little inside showcasing your 3 products. What I love is the elastic bands. They actually have the names printed, which is so cute. And we're going to start again with the namesake in the kit, so the stress release remedy. So a tension reducing remedy. Think of any of the ways that you experience stress, whether that's tension, whether that's feeling anxious, racing thoughts, just feeling a little fidgety or sort of nervous. This can be super supportive in that sense. 2 key ingredients, lavender and orange. Have to take a break for a little inhale. You've heard me talk about in the past adaptogens or adaptogenic oils, and both lavender and orange fit the bill. So the simplest way to explain an adaptogen means that your body can use it in 2 different ways. So some people experience these essential oils as sedative or really peaceful, inducing calm. Some people experience them as uplifting or a little bit more mood boosting. So don't think of this product necessarily for sleep or that type of deep rest. It may just help more to impact, like I'd mentioned, like chatter or busy thoughts, something of that nature. So this formula, you don't want to use this one in a diffuser. If you love the formula stress release, there's a separate diffuser blend, but this one is formulated with carrier oil. So for topical application, think temples, think wrists. I love this product along the jawline. If you're a clencher or a grinder, if you sort of hold tension there, this can be really relaxing. Over the shoulders is another great way to just encourage your body to give some relaxation. Bottom of the feet is another option. And then a perfect way to use the formula is something we call a sage breath. But I'm going to save that for a little bit later because I want to talk about it with another product. So that's your stress release. Second in line, if you've again been following along our educational series, you'll know how much I love our nasal inhalers. So this is the stress release nasal inhaler. Simple to use. You unscrew your cap. You have a small little hole here through which you inhale the oils. And then all you want to do is make a little bit of a blockage to one of the nostrils, hold the tube close, and then inhale deeply. So you can switch sides and you can do that a few times. I like to do it about 3 to 5 times just to support really quickly experiencing the benefit. And this is another great opportunity for me to discuss what I always like to share about quick acting and long lasting. Again, simplest way to consider is that anything you breathe in, going to act quickly, impact your symptoms quickly. Anything you apply topically, so through the skin, going to take a little bit longer to enter the bloodstream and then give you a bit more of like a time release, so a longevity of effect. And again, my favorite term of the day, layering wellness. So you can use these 2 together. There's so many reasons I love the inhalers. They're small, they're portable. They actually don't qualify as a liquid, so you could travel with them in any way that you would choose. They're great for tucking into your purse, into your wallet, into your backpack, your pockets. I've talked before about keeping them all over my apartment. I love just how effective they are in such a small little formula. So the inside, I'll take this off again, inside your tube here is something called a cotton tige. So it's a very thick and absorbent piece of cotton. So we saturate with essential oil. So it's very concentrated. They're not intended to be refilled. This is something you would just use once through to duration and then recycle, but it has about a year of shelf life. And that really is because you're not doing much more than just breathing in and replacing the cap. So it's going to stay fresh for a long time. So this is another great option. We've had people in our community share that they love this for their children. So as students in school, again, something that's discreet and personal use, and they're great in a scent-free environment. So that's product number 2. And then the third product here, this little small and mighty, is called our Relaxo Ring. So I'll show that to you there. It's made of a beautiful healing copper, and this is intended for massage on the fingers, and some people like it on the toes. So it works with the same sort of principles or idea of something like reflexology or acupressure, in that you use the massage motion on the digits to impact different areas of the body. So people have shared with us over the years that they love this product. Just again, if you are a bit of a nervous fidgeter or someone, sometimes you see someone has to sort of shake out excess energy, whether it's like tapping their toes or sort of tapping their fingers. This can be great to provide a bit of distraction to the mind that will help unwind and cause release of stress. So this one in particular, I want to highlight within the booklet. So in the little booklet that comes with your stress release, there's a great section here on the Relaxo ring. So it'll talk specifically about the significance of each finger, so the different areas that are impacted in the body and how you might experience using it. Pre-COVID, I was a pretty avid traveler, and I found that this was my favorite companion for nervous energy on a flight. I was a little bit of an anxious flyer at different times, and I would find that just causing this distraction within my mind and focusing on my breath while massaging was really helpful for me. And what I encourage you to explore as well is where it feels great. I always loved my thumb and my forefinger, and I'd actually find sometimes that it was almost uncomfortable on my other fingers, and that gave me information as well about different areas of the body that were being impacted. So hang on to your little booklet, keep this little guy with you, and stress release is literally at your fingertips. The third kit we're going to talk about today is my personal favorite. I'm thrilled to talk about this guy. I'm thrilled to talk about all of them, let's be real. This is called Get Well. So beautiful little design, again, in that rPET fabric. 3 incredible products inside, all of which I love. No surprise to any of you. This one here is called Immune. So for our friends in the United States, you will know this formula as Fortify. This is the hero in our cough and cold line of products. So let me paint a picture for you about some of these beautiful ingredients. So you have tea tree. Tea tree is well studied in aromatherapy for many benefits, including being cleansing. It also has eucalyptus, again, a storied history in aromatherapy and in herbal medicine for being known as the breathing oil, so encouraging deep, restful breaths. There's also pine, so an oil that comes to us from the trees in the forest, which again, we know to impact positive breathing. There is rosemary. I've never really talked about rosemary in this blend, but rosemary is also studied in aromatherapy for its anti-inflammatory benefit. So if you think about being congested or stuffed up or any sort of inflammation in the respiratory tract, this is effective in that case. And then the last ingredient I want to mention, a sort of little secret in the blend, is cinnamon. So cinnamon is very warming, very comforting to our systems, and it's just a nice little warm touch at the end that sort of feels like a hug. So this formula, also not for your diffuser. In this format specifically, topical, we do have a diffuser blend if you want to use it in that way. And think about this one, so many uses. So some people love it just around the nasal cavity. My favorite is always a little roll on the finger and then under the nose. We've talked before about the figure 8, so that's using your sinuses above the eyebrow here, under the cheekbone, and then creating a motion just like this. So the shape of a figure 8 across the sinuses. Make sure not to cheat here and go across the orbital, but go deeply under the cheekbone. As well, the throat and the chest, anywhere that feels comforting or restorative for you. And then this is the product I want to introduce you to, the Sage Breath. So what we do here is we just untwist our cap, take one of your palms, and then you just want to apply generously. I'm a little liberal. I like to really get that rolled on there. And then what you do is just rub your hands together like this. That helps to warm and emulsify the essential oil, sort of activating. Then create a little bit of a tent like this with your hands over your nose and mouth. And what you do is you breathe deeply in through the nose, just hold for a few seconds at the top, and then release slowly through the mouth. So it looks just like this. And you can do that about 2 to 3 times. When you're thinking back to what I said earlier about anything that you breathe in acting quickly, this is effective for any sort of acute congestion or sinus sort of pressures or anything that feels stuffy. You can often get that relief quickly. And then what I love to do as well is just rub the rest of the oil into the hand. Something I want to suggest here is that you can use the Immune or Fortify blend as an alternative as an alcohol-free hand sanitizer. So let me be really clear that I want to ensure that the recommendations through the CDC and through the World Health Organization are always top of mind. So that means regular soap and water is the most effective way to remove germs or bacteria from our hands. Your second option being an alcohol-based hand sanitizer, but you better believe that in a pinch, if neither of those two were available to me, knowing the cleansing properties of this formula, Immune is going to be my go-to. So that is the first product in the kit. Second, we know how much I love this. It's the Fortify Inhaler. So not only do I love nasal inhalers as a whole, but the Fortify is my true number one. If you were with us a few weeks back, you would know that this was part of my top 5 products. And this one in particular, I love just in supporting my wellness year round. So I don't use this product just when I'm feeling under the weather or just when I feel like I need a boost. I use it to keep myself feeling well. So that combination, like I said, of cleansing, clearing, really opening oils, I find this one particularly effective. So this is the one I joked that I had 7 or 8 within like my pockets, my backpack, beside my couch, beside my bed. I wasn't joking, that's the true number I have, but I really do find it to be effective in supporting acute symptoms quickly. So all of the same things apply in terms of how to use it, how to store it, to really extend its lifespan. Just ensure that you have your cap on tightly. And these guys should last you for up to about a year. So I really, really encourage you, if you're looking to add a new wellness product to your regimen, to try out a nasal inhaler. They're so discreet, perfect for personal use. Just one last little breathe in before I move on to product number 3. So the third and final product in the kit, I love it. I use it all the time. This is our Echinacea throat spray. So this is a brand new limited edition bottle, so only available within the Get Well kit. It's glass, so you can hear when you tink on it there. So you want to be careful in the way that you're storing, but there's so many reasons I love Echinacea throat spray. So this is a tincture that is supportive, again, of symptoms of the common cold. So Echinacea is known to help with numbing, so numbing any sort of pain or discomfort within the throat. And it's also known to help support lessening or shortening the duration of symptoms associated with common cold. Another ingredient is licorice root. Licorice root is known as almost a throat coat, so it really helps to support soothing and restoring the throat. I like to think of it, this is maybe a silly little analogy, but I think of it like a piece of Swiss cheese, and it's like it fills in the holes. So it just really coats and helps to support, again, that delicate tissue in the throat. And then there is also an herb called Campagne Root, and this is studied historically through traditional herbal medicine for its ability to act as an expectorant. So what an expectorant means is to help encourage removing mucus or fluids from the lungs and the respiratory system. So really allowing you to get that sort of yucky stuff out of your system and support like restoration. So another thing I want to mention, and I don't want to mince words, is that Echinacea tastes gross. You know, there's that tagline through Buckley's that they've had for years and years and years that says, it tastes awful and it works. And that is a genius marketing statement. And there are so many products that you would use for cough and cold or to support your system that would really fall within that category. Echinacea is one of them. And I say that because I like to be honest. I like to give people an accurate picture of how a product is going to be experienced, but I also want to talk about how we can move past that. So let's read. On the back it says the recommended use is to help relieve the symptoms and shorten the duration of upper respiratory tract and throat infection. And then the recommended dose, so this is for adults 18 or over, says take 7 sprays every 2 hours, 6 times per day at the first sign of infection. So we're going to do it. Live demonstration, my friends. 7 sprays, here we go. Ugh. A little bit of a swallow. It always gives me a little chill as it goes down. But that's a live and accurate demonstration of how Echinacea is going to feel. What you'll notice is as soon as I had swallowed it down, the face, sort of came into play. But quickly I'm able to move on from that experience. It's not something that's going to last for a long time or that it's going to, impede on the rest of your day. The truth is it starts to immediately feel comforting and soothing. There's just that nice restorative quality about the way that it supports feeling awesome in the throat and in the, in your respiratory system. And so yes, that was accurate. It's true. It's how it's going to be. The truth is there's not much you could do unless you added a lot of sugar or some sort of additives. That's what Echinacea is going to taste like. But this is where I encourage you to keep your mind open and to consider that even though something may not be super palatable immediately, its effect is so beneficial and it's so supportive as part of your wellness regimen that, that 3 seconds of the face, will be over and done with, and then you'll be on your way to feeling awesome. So that's Echinacea throat spray. The last thing I want to mention about our Get Well kit is that we currently have an incredible initiative. So for every kit sold, we are donating $5 to 2 different charities within Canada and the US to support frontline workers. So in Canada, we're supporting Canada Helps. And in the US, this is hashtag First Responders First through Thrive Global. So a really incredible way to give back to the innumerable people who've been supporting our health and wellness over the last few months and will continue to do so going forward. So that, my friends, brings us to the end of our product education for today. As always, I want to encourage you to head on over to the comments section. Any feedback or questions you have here, it is my true pleasure to answer them. I really love providing suggestions or recommendations. So if that's anything you're curious about, let me know. In terms of our next session, so next week we are moving to Fridays. So on Friday, June 5th, I'm going to host a session on home essentials. So this isn't necessarily going to be products to support your body, but more products to support the wellness of your home. And spoiler alert, it's going to be awesome. So hopefully you are able to join us then. As always, I want to just take a moment to thank you for your time. It truly is an honor for me to be able to host these sessions, and I always hope that you've learned something new, or that maybe for an existing product you have, you're able to think about it in a different way. And more importantly, what I want to do is encourage you to think about your wellness, think about our collective wellness, to really take time this week to be a kind person, to be a patient person, to think about being a positive member of your community. I think about how much I want to be a positive member of my community. So thank you again for your time. Have a great rest of your week. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you back here next Friday.